Talk to you about motivation, actually how to sustain it long term. You see, most of us, we get excited about something, whether it's getting back into our health, maybe getting motivated about a workout or a program that we're new to, or maybe just getting back into it. And it's easy to get kind of burned out sometimes where, we jump into it for a few weeks, and maybe a few months, maybe a few years, and then all of a sudden it's just like we have that constant burnout. But how do you stay motivated? That's the number one question. And so, there was a book that I was reading, and it was called Limitless, and it was basically gave an equation, and it talked about three things that they were addressing here. And the one was your purpose, which is obviously that's a huge thing for everything. We want to know that result. Why are we doing this? Two was energy, and then three was basically S3. Small, simple steps. We got to take small steps, because sometimes if we try to jump in too big, we halt ourselves. So over the years, we're told this story, where we grew up, what we've been learning from our teachers, our coaches, just different stuff gets in our head and our mindset. So that kind of dictates our path and also our motivation long term, because all these ideas are just different stuff we're learning, which basically are lies, limited ideas entertained, which is BS, which is your belief system. So once you get this and you understand like how it works, and you understand, okay, what is my end goal? What am I trying to achieve? You can plug and play. So take that equation, you find your purpose, and I'm gonna break it down, because our body in general is not logical, meaning we're not logical thinkers. Our body doesn't work logically. It's about the physiology, the human chemicals, receptors within our body, how it works, and how everything basically conducts and performs. And so let me break it down. So we'll go through basically your purpose, which I want to get more in depth with, find your energy, and then small, simple steps. So let's get going here. So purpose. Again, we are not logical, we are emotional, because the reason with it being the physiology of our body, the way the chemical receptors work, the dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin, all the different things that basically help conduct the energy, the movement through our body. Energy is basically something that really is what we're looking for. How do we keep and sustain? And a lot of it, when we find that emotion, ability to stay in movement, then we can basically keep that sustainability, or basically that motivation, keep moving forward. And so you think about this, why are we so dependent? It's a habit. It's a habit we're all developed. We've all entertained. We've all been basically dependent on things, because over the years we've learned that basically what we've been taught or what we've been exposed to is to get that dependency, that habit of saying, I need this. But it's not your fault. It's something that we've all been, it's how our human nature works. We all want to be part of something, a community. But over the years, the dependency can get to us, and that can actually be your limiting factor. There's always going to be a drug or a medication to basically, feed our needs for certain health issues, maybe certain things that we don't want to address, and we just want to get rid of it or get it fixed or addressed right away. Number two, maybe someone is trying to basically sustain or stay afloat at a certain job or a certain position, just to make ends meet. Maybe you're also at a point where you're finding these different things, these senseless, maybe meaningless, but also self-fulfilling things, ideas that you are even opportunities that you're jumping into just to feel that connection and that ability to thrive or to have more energy. So all these dependencies, all these things, these habits that we start to develop over the years really limit us. They really break us down and basically keep us from moving forward. So what we have to do is learn how to get in there and say, okay, what are these habits? What are these interdependent ideas or things coming at us that are slowing us down, so we can maintain and sustain that motivation long term. So let's go back and say, our purpose in general, our body being not logical but emotional, we're made up of chemical receptors. So how do we address this? So that's the big question. And so now what do I do next? Well, when I was thinking about this, I was like, there's a lot of things that we could do, but at the end of the day, it's like, why make it hard when it's actually a lot simpler than what most people think? Is you have 5 senses, and this is how your body connects. We have our sight, our vision. So, we think about maybe a dream board. Maybe there's pictures or there's visions of stuff that we look at. We're like, okay, this is the goal. Because the main thing is basically you want that end result. So what is my end result? That's the picture I'm looking at. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So that's where you get the vision. Maybe it's auditory, putting positive stuff into your ears, whether it's music, whether it's video, self-talk. Everything has to do with the connectivity. And so the more positive is, and also, just in general, the direction that you're heading, then that's going to help you basically follow a certain path. The more negative stuff you're around, whether it's your self-talk, yes, it does dictate how your health is and or your outcome on a certain activity, or even just general people that you're around. So you have to be very careful of who you surround yourself with. The third is olfactory, basically smell. So there's certain things, you maybe go to a restaurant, you're out with friends or a certain activity, and you sense maybe that smell, or you remember a certain fragrance, and something motivates you because it puts something in your mind, as maybe a memory, or maybe if it's even an identity. So that smell is a big part. It basically gets us motivated to certain things, and also some smells can maybe demotivate you. So you got to be surrounding yourself with certain little actionable items to do that. The fourth is going to be taste, and I know this is a huge thing because part of this is the number one thing that most people either, and again, these can be good or bad. So taste can be something that really excites people, gets them more motivated, meaning they taste something that's good, but they can overconsume. And so that's where you're going to have to be a little careful on the taste part, because that you can use it to your benefit to motivate you to a certain activity, and plug it into something bigger than what we are as far as keeping us motivated long term. But it also can be too motivating to where you overeat or maybe overconsume something. And the fifth is going to be touch, and that could be multiple things. It could be someone gives you a hug, someone pats you on the back. Maybe it's something that you go in physically, from like foam rolling to stretch, certain activities that basically like from a physical standpoint. And so these are all different things too that can feed into the brain. So learning how to work your five senses can basically help dictate how you find that true inner physiology, that connectivity to the nervous system, to the brain, how it all works. Thus, you can find your purpose that you can help sustain long term. You plug it in with things that also motivate you from an energy standpoint, whether it's from a health standpoint, like certain things you eat or drink healthy wise, or again, people you're around, use those senses, and then you take small, simple steps. And that is really where you find your ability to sustain long term without burning out. And when I say small, simple steps, everyone's going to have a different idea and or a measurement on what that is for them. But the main thing is that you don't overdo it at first. You want that win. You want to get that first win. Once you get that win, then you feed the brain. You say, hey, I can do this. And once you can do it, belief is everything. And that's what helps you move forward and drive toward your bigger purpose, your bigger reason, thus your end result, and sustain your motivation. Thanks.